Now, digging into the hurricane aspect of it, we have an update on Hurricane Ian. So, after slamming Florida, Ian has intensified into a hurricane again. Wow. So, what we're covering. So, the latest, the fatal. Okay, so what we're covering. The latest. The storm system Ian has intensified to a Category 1 hurricane intensified to a Category 1 hurricane as it heads towards South Carolina, according to the National Weather Service. The storm made landfall along the southwestern coast of Florida as a powerful Category 4 hurricane Wednesday. Fatal impact. At least 15 people has been reported dead so far on the storm. To the storm, search and rescue efforts are underway in the worst hit areas of Florida. The conditions. The extremely dangerous conditions that Ian unleashed, including catastrophic floods and life-threatening storm surges, will continue as the storm moves toward Georgia and South Carolina, tracking Ian in the storm's path. Bookmark, whatever. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, so we knew what's coming. Governor McMaster warned South Carolinians to prepare for Ian's arrival on Friday. So, we know what's coming, said McMaster. There's a little bit of wiggle room in exactly how strong the rains and how strong the wind will be, but the biggest variable is human reaction. It's people failing to take necessary precautions. That's the real danger. And what we have is human error. Doesn't make much of a difference whether it comes in at hurricane strength or below a storm strength or somewhere in the line, because it's going to be blowing strong winds and it's going to be all over the sea at different levels. And as you can see, if you go and look at the maps, he said. So a lot of cities around the place are actually donating food, water, and ice on Friday, the mayor says. So, I mean, it's just very upsetting what happened. It is. Now, it's very, very sad, but this actually raises a question. Hurricane Ian exposes an insurance crisis that's much bigger than Florida. Now, rising house prices are one way climate change will shift populations around. Now, this is according to MSNBC, climate change, quote, quote, climate change. Now, Hurricane Ian was lashing southwestern Florida on Wednesday afternoon when NBC News meteorologist Bill Currens predicted that the damage and power outages would prevent tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of Floridians from returning home any soon. Ian had winds of only 75 miles per hour, but it intensified rapidly as Laura and Delta did in 2020 and Ida did last year. Take it from someone whose house took on 8 feet of water after Hurricane Katrina and who has covered dangerous storms since then. Currens is right to predict a long displacement of people from the hardest hit areas. He is also right to implicate climate change as a reason we're seeing storms hit coastlines more frequently in strength. Of course, MSNBC and all these stupid left-wing articles are going the climate change route. These hurricanes are mostly formed from warm water, at least it is on Earth. Now, when it goes through the Gulf, it is actually warm water, and it's making the hurricane stronger and stronger and stronger. The Gulf of Mexico has always been warm, no matter what. It's always been warm for the last hundreds of thousands of years. It's always been warm. We've always had hurricanes, and it's not a political statement. Hurricanes are not a political statement whatsoever. If you make it a political statement, it is completely false. Some people are saying that this hurricane has formed only just because Ron DeSantis is Republican. But that's just stupid. How? How does it matter if somebody is Republican or Democrat? We're still going to have the hurricane no matter what. If you look at Jupiter has had the same exact hurricane for the last 400 years. Does that mean that we need to elect a Democrat to make it stop? No, because there's no way that a Democrat or a Republican or a conservative or an independent or anyone in between can possibly stop a tornado or a natural disaster from forming. In this case, a hurricane. It is just not possible and is not feasible in whatsoever. Now, the GOP according to MSNBC, might have a new neo-fascist fave. Oh my god, a neo-fascist. Every single time they call somebody a fascist, it's just hilarious. They make this girl look so scary, so evil. Oh my god, so evil. So, Giorgia Meloni's victory means Italy will become more enmeshed in far-right and fascist networks. Republican will most likely make her another favorite. Now, you are totally right. I'm a conservative independent. Now, I already like her because she said that what should come first is family. Family and God. God and family should come first, and it always have. Now, this is an MSNBC opinion columnist. Of course, I do not want women to be slaves, but if I propose to give our women the vote, I would be laughed at. Italian director Benero Mussolini told German journalist Emily Ludwig in 1932, she must not count in political life. 90 years of life, the top figure of an Italian politics will finally be female. Giorgia Meloni, head of the neo-fascist Brothers of Italy party, is set to become prime minister after her party received 26% of the vote in Sunday's elections. Deuce might not have been displeased that Meloni will have the jobs he once filled, given her past praise for him as a leader. Fruit of the years of militantly in the neo-fascist Italian Social Movement Party, founded in 1946 to preserve Italian fascism. Her party's slogan, God, Fatherland, and Family, dates back to the regime. So this is according to MSNBC again. Obviously, this is neo-fascist and regime and blah, 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 blah. All these bad words just because she's Republican. Shut up. Italy will become more enmeshed in far-right networks that strength from Vladimir Putin's Russia to Viktor Orban's Hungary to Jair Bolsonaro's Brazil to Republican America. They're trying to relate this all together because midterms is coming up. That's the only reason, and it's just stupid. Moving on. This is going to NPR now. So, according to NPR, after devastating Florida, Ian becomes a hurricane again and heads for South Carolina. Live updates. So, here's what we're following. Everything. Okay, Fort Myers will never be the same again, a survivor says. As a born and raised resident of Fort Myers, Bobby Pratt has been dealing with hurricanes since he was 2 months old, but the devastation caused by Hurricane Ian was beyond what he could have imagined. Carnage is what I can describe it as. I was just in shock, he said Thursday in the aftermath. I could just see it was going to be bad, worse than I ever have thought. Now, this is actually a video on Twitter, so let's watch this. Okay, so this is him going all around Florida. This is disgusting. This is exactly like, how dare people make this a political statement? How dare people make a political statement out of this? These are people's homes. These are people's life. This is where people work and make a living on a daily basis. And you're making a political statement out of it? That's truly and utterly disgusting. And it should not be had. Hey, were you really going to click off this video before leaving a like and subscribing down below? Wow, so rude.